Hey guys, Trevor Holt here. It's Sunday, the 18th of May, 2025. I've just completed 120 times up and down the lookout tower at the Ipswich Queen's Park. It's 18 steps up and with 2 intermediate platforms. And I've done that in the last 60 minutes. So I've done 120. So here's the view when we get out there. It's a pretty good view. Beautiful day today, and it's a good day to get out. And about remembering that exercise, diet, and the great outdoors, getting out and experiencing life creates better impacts on your overall health and well-being. So I'm here today, I suppose, just to keep everyone in the loop, and just to encourage people to look after their own overall well-being by getting out and doing some exercise, and getting out and getting close and into nature, hearing the birds chirp, touching some trees. And getting out and doing stuff is really good for your soul and your overall well-being. Getting your heart pumping, your blood flowing, is good. It's good to do it, and it's easy not to do these things. It's easy to stay at home and sit on the couch and make excuses. That's what our brain does, makes excuses, and it's fighting that urge to do nothing and actually doing something. It's a conscious decision that we have to make. It doesn't matter what's happened in your life yesterday or what might happen in your life tomorrow. It's something that you can do now. Stay in the here and the now, in the present, and get out and have some exercise and some outdoor time. Get away from your mundane stresses going on. So guys, 120 times up and down that's fairly good. I've been a bit slack lately. I normally do between, when I'm feeling the best, 160 to 180 times in an hour, but 120 is probably the most I've done for a few days or a few weeks. So as everyone knows, I've been under the pump, and under a fair bit of stress at the moment with my assignments due for my degree in psychology. I finished both of them off now. Just got to study for the end of year exams and do all the readings and go through all the exercises. So still a fair bit of work to go there. But also with the National Fire Ant Eradication Program, that's been an ongoing campaign since about July last year. So I've had my 3rd calf die as a direct result of the National Fire Ant Eradication Program now. So it is starting to get real, but I tell people to enjoy the journey, and enjoy every day. Every day is a blessing, and to approach things with a sense of curiosity. So, I'm very curious at the extreme measures the National Fire Ant Eradication Program done on my property on the 16th of April 2025 that resulted in injury to me, requiring stitches and hospital treatment. Getting tackled in my backyard by a police officer for obstructing biosecurity officers from breaching their APVMA permit. That was quite interesting, and a big sense of curiosity about how it's going to move forward. So obviously I had my first hearing, I think it was the 6th of May, and I've got my next hearing on the 10th of June. So preparing for that and trying to anticipate what that's all about. It can create anxiety, but at the end of the day, if you live in the here and the now, and just live each moment to its full potential, then we're going to be able to get through these challenging times. And like I said, living with a little bit of curiosity as to why these people are doing these things. So it seems quite extreme measures to do I think there was six police, maybe, I don't know, maybe up to 20 biosecurity people on my property distributing toxic chemicals where there are no fire ants against my will, after previously reporting 2 calves dead from toxic liver poisoning. It seems very extreme to me, and trying to work through that, I suppose, is something that I'm good at. But generally, as a counsellor and mental health practitioner, it's important for me to not just talk the talk, but to walk the walk, and to demonstrate that these things that occur in my life do not define me. I know who I am, and that's important for people to understand. Don't let other people tell you who you are. You know who you are, and live to your values, and live to your purpose, and be the best you can be. I've got no regrets on anything that I've done in my campaign. I put on hold my work in domestic violence and stopping domestic violence. I put on hold my work on preventing youth crime and working with youth crime. And I put on hold my work suicide prevention, which I'm very passionate about, to work on this National Fire Ant Eradication Program campaign, because I know that what they're doing is harm, and it's harming the most vulnerable people in our community. So creating outcomes that help assist the most vulnerable people in our community is what I do. The government, unfortunately, hasn't recognised that the harm that they are doing. They fail to recognise this, and that's very disappointing in itself, and leads to question their culture and their credibility. Having them attack me and my behaviour about what I'm doing, I've had an actual written letter from them that's signed by them, saying that my behaviour is unacceptable in my campaign to stop the prophylactic treatment of toxic chemicals in areas where there are no fire ants. And yet here they are, jumping people's fences, cutting people's locks, terrorising vulnerable people in their own homes, invading their privacy to distribute toxic chemicals where there are no fire ants. And these are the guys that are saying my behaviour is unacceptable. It's quite ironic, I think. And that's where it's important, guys, to understand yourself, understand your values, understand your motives, understand who you are, and what values you hold dear. Don't let other people tell you who you are. Don't let other people define you. Don't worry about the opinion of other people. It's got no consequence on you. Only you know who you are. Only you can walk in your, shoes and your footsteps. Only you have your personal experience in life, and only you can make decisions based on what's important to you. So, to me, it's important that the government has some pushback on this program and has someone telling them that what they're doing is wrong, and that the human rights, property rights, and individual choices of people is important, and more weight needs to be placed on people's human rights, property rights, and individual choice when they're making these decisions. Because at the moment, the biggest perpetrators of harm is the government, the Queensland government in particular. They're causing harm. They continue to cause harm with their reckless distribution of toxic chemicals where there are no fire ants, affecting people's overall health and well-being. And there's no clearer way I can put that. So I'm just going to leave it there, and say to you guys, if you are suffering as a result of anxiety or stress in relation to the National Fire Ant Eradication Program, remember, you can only do what's inside your circle of influence. That's the main thing. Just worry about things that you can do to create better outcomes. So I strongly still suggest everyone object as much as they can. Don't do negotiations with these people, because they tick that as boxes being cooperative, and they'll continue to do what they're doing. So just make them come with the police. Make them go through the process. And even if you just, step aside and let them treat that, after they go through the process, at least that tells them, and they had some statistics in to say that they needed to go to the full extreme to treat that property. And the more people that do that, the more costly it is for them. And these government officials know nothing more than money, you know what I mean? So it's just about money to them. So just trying to work out ways to stop it. So in the, I think it's February 27th, Senate estimates said about 1,444 people required police intervention, over 145,000 properties treated. And they're the type of statistics that they work on. They work on number of properties treated, number of tons of chemicals distributed. They don't work on how much fire ant distributions has reduced, because it's continuing to expand. They don't work on numbers of success, because they're not having any success. They just work on numbers of properties that they treated and number of tons of chemicals that they distributed, because there is no success in what they're doing. So that's the main thing, I suppose, is to keep to your guns, guys. Keep objecting if you don't want it. And the government is doing harm. I don't know why they're denying their use of PFAS chemicals in the fire ant eradication program. They're using false and misleading statements in relation to that. They're misleading the public about non-toxic, non-target effects that these chemicals have. There's been no Australian scientific study to demonstrate that the effects of fire ants on the biological effects of fire ants exceed that of the biological effects of these toxic chemicals that they're distributing. They don't know that. They haven't done any research on that, and they continue to put their blinkers on and just focus on fire ants without focusing on all the other elements. I think it's like close to 2,000 or over 2,000 people die on our roads each year. Our roads are terrible. I've never seen worse roads from all these flooding events. I think there's 4 flooding events in 2022. There was a flooding event recently as well, and we still haven't got all the flood fixed from 2011. So all this money is wasted on this program. It could be used in far better ways. Is a reflection on the government and how out of touch they are with the needs of the community. So in saying that, we just got to try and work within our circle of influence. So writing letters to our members, I know it doesn't get us anywhere, but it does put our voice in front of them more often. Maybe focus on the new federal government, focus on the Nationals, maybe write the Nationals some letters they're looking at, and even the LNP, who got decimated in the last election just passed. So keep writing letters, keep objecting, and as always, if you do object, CC or BCC in objections at aagpilot.com, just so we've got a record of them ourselves, because the National Fire Ant Eradication Program denies, delays and discredits anything that gets in their ways, and they have a history of misrepresenting information. That's what they do, guys. So anyway, so we've got to focus on ourselves and know who we are, know what we stand for. Don't let other people define us. Get out and about, get our heartbeat pumping, and get out exercising. Focus on our diet and our social connections for our overall well-being. Get to understand what is our circle of influence, what we can do, what we have control over, and what we don't have control over, and try and work within them scopes of life, and just approach things with a sense of curiosity, guys, because I don't want anyone out there getting overwhelmed. I want people, especially with the National Fire Ant Eradication Program campaign that we're on, and stopping the toxic distribution of the prophylactic chemicals that are polluting our environment at the moment. I want people to enjoy the process. It's got to be fun, guys. It's got to be fun, and knowing a $1.2 billion program that are recklessly distributing chemicals because they haven't got the brain power to work out that there are other means and other ways of creating control, biological control. Scientific evidence suggests that prophylactic treatment not only does not stop fire ants, will not eradicate them, but it will create an environment that will hasten and intensify their spread. And that's been proven time and time again overseas. So I have no doubt that these guys are just embarrassing themselves with this reckless pursuit of eradication, and they need to learn to manage and live with fire ants. And that's where we're at now. I feel so much to spend our money on leading into the Olympics with all the stadiums and that, and wasting money on this is fruitless. But in saying that, they got a job to do. They're getting paid to do it. They're using taxpayers' money, so it doesn't really worry them. And I feel that's one of the fundamental things that's wrong with this country at the moment, is there's no independence in any of this stuff. It's just people trying to work out how to continue sponging money out of taxpayers and all these government departments. The amount of eradication programs and the amount of innuendo about excessive use of government funds to eradicate this ant or that ant. There's so many ants at the moment that are on the eradication list that they're trying to eradicate. It's not funny, and 90% of the population probably wouldn't even know have any adverse effects, or wouldn't even know that they existed unless there's a big negative campaign from the media. So yeah, corporate captured departments are a big concern, and independence in regards to professionals having opinions is a bit of a concern as well, because anyone that's employed by the government or has an employment contract with the government can't speak out against government programs. We've got nurses, we've got doctors, and we've got people that can't speak out because they'll lose their licence or lose their income stream or lose their subsidies in relation to government funding by speaking out against these people. So it's important that whoever can speak out, do speak out, because our human rights, our fundamental human rights, our fundamental property rights, individual choice, including our choice not to be poisoned or not to be exposed to toxic chemicals, is worth fighting for, guys. And it's important to me and to thousands of others. I think there's close to 8,000 people in the toxic group, Facebook group now, most of which are in the eradication zone fighting it. There's several groups on the Gold Coast, Boonah, Sunshine Coast, Burgundy, and different areas across the eradication zone that are starting to pick up momentum in their own right, which is good to see. So at the end of the day, guys, it's people power that's going to get the job done. Nothing else will do it. But in the meantime, let's write as many letters as we can. Let's stir enough pots that we can, and let's shake the tree and see what happens. So I've got avenues now through the legal system to try and explore the legality of what they're doing, and I'm going to do that as much as possible, and see where that goes. And I'm still rallying people's emails, addresses, and contacts through the Australian Advocacy Group. So log on to aagpilot.com, register, subscribe to that, and if you want to contribute to the cause, you can become a paying member of AAG. There's some ways of contributing on there through membership or whatever. You can pay whatever you want on that. And moving forward, if you need someone to talk to or are having difficulties in your own circumstance, feel free to reach out, guys. I'm always here to talk and help people as much as I can. And if you need intervention or emergency system, we can refer you to places like Lifeline, Beyond Blue. There's Beyond Now apps and things as well that can help you through it. I know a lot of people are suffering anxiety and depression, but the point that I'm trying to get across is live in the here and now, appreciate every breath of air that you take, and work on your exercise, diet, and getting outdoors. Build on your social engagement and your circle of influence. Understand your circle of influence and do what you can, and enjoy the moments, enjoy the days, and enjoy life, guys. And that's me for today. Like I said, I haven't got any magic pill, I haven't got any magic button, or there's nothing I can do to make the world a better place overnight. But it's quite interesting in this campaign and learning about all this stuff. I didn't realise, I was still stuck in my own life so much that I didn't realise all this stuff that's going on with the government departments and with the government, especially the Queensland government, which is the only government that doesn't have a Senate, which is quite interesting in itself. And the fact that even the federal guys say, I don't know what's going on there in Queensland, that's beyond us. So it's quite interesting. We've got to enjoy the challenge, enjoy each other's company, and support each other where we can, and hopefully we'll create greater outcomes, better outcomes as time moves on, guys. No worries, thanks very much. Have a good day. Bye.